Okay, good morning. I'd like to welcome all of you here to Wilson Middle School to our Remembrance Day ceremony. This is a very important event in our school. I'd like to start by acknowledging that we're on Blackfoot territory, and I'd like to recognize the Blackfoot people past and present. I'd also like to welcome all the parents and special guests in attendance. I'd like to recognize Lieutenant Colonel Richard Chevrier, retired, Mr. Sean Pinder, and Miss McMahon, who will be here with us today. Thank you very much for your participation in our ceremony. Given the current circumstances with our new bleachers going in the gym, we had to come up with a new plan. So we have all of our grade 8 students with us here today, and our grade 6 and 7 students are all watching on a live stream. So they're in their classrooms, and this is all being live streamed right now. So a little bit different than we've had in the past. Just a reminder today that this is a special assembly. This isn't like assemblies we had before. We appreciate anybody to turn off your cell phones at this time. Our students shouldn't have cell phones. They should be in your locker. This isn't an assembly where we're talking or visiting. We're not clapping when we do a performance or someone sings or you like a song. This is a time that we show the most respect that we can for the people who have either are in or who have been in wars, present or past. And now I will pass our microphone over to our grade 8 students who will serve as Masters of Ceremonies. We've got Rayla Van Galen here and Hayden Forsyth. We ask that you please be respectful for the duration of this ceremony.
Thank you, Mr. Hawkins. Good morning, students, teachers, parents, and guests. Welcome to Wilson Middle School's Remembrance Day ceremony.
On this very solemn occasion, we ask that students conduct themselves in a respectful manner. We do not applaud during this ceremony.
Rayla and I are honored to be your Masters of Ceremony for this year's Remembrance Day Assembly. The title of our program is Remembering the Soldiers.
Would you please rise as Mr. Sean Pinder pipes our flag bearers into the common area to Pibroch O'Donnell Dew and Bonnie Dundee. Members of the color party include Brenda Mitchell, Joshua Delos Reyes, Alex Hawley, and William Van Riper.
Please remain standing after the color party has taken their places. Please join the grade 8 ensemble and the Wilson Middle School Concert Choir as they lead us in O Canada. As we sing, let us remember and be proud of all that our flag symbolizes. Please be seated. Remembrance Day is a time to honor and respect those who willingly served our country during times of peace and conflict. The ongoing unrest in the world today requires a global community of willing nations to support peacekeeping and peacemaking initiatives.
At this time, our thoughts go out to our Canadian troops who are currently serving throughout the world and who stand guard domestically in the protection of Canadian sovereignty. These brave men and women in the Canadian Armed Forces stand for values of peace, security, and human dignity. We remember them today. We honor their valor.
We are so fortunate for all we have. This is due, in part, to the brave men and women who paid the ultimate price, their lives, so we might enjoy freedom.
We would now like to invite the grade 7 drama class to present a tableau montage entitled Letters from War, set to the poem of the same name by Mark Schultz. Read as a poem and with accompaniment by Mrs. Head, this piece is a series of dramatic movements which tells the poignant story of a mother receiving letters from her son while he is at war.
She walked to the mailbox on that bright summer's day, found a letter from her son in a war far away. He spoke of the weather and good friends that he'd made. Said, I'd been thinking about Dad and the life that he had. That's why I'm here today. And at the end he said, you are what I'm fighting for. It was the first of his letters from war. And she started writing, you're good and you're brave. What a father that you'll be someday. Make it home, make it safe. She wrote every night as she prayed. Then late in December, a day she'll not forget, her tears oh, her tears stained the paper with every word that she read. It said, I was up on a hill. I was out there alone when the shots all rang out and bombs were exploding. That came for me, and though he was captured, a man set me free. And that man was your son. He asked me to write to you.
I told him I would, oh I swore. It was the last of his letters from war. And she prayed he was living. She kept on believing. She wrote every night just to say, you are good and you're brave. What a father that you'll be someday. Make it home, make it safe. Still, she kept writing each day. And then, 2 years later, autumn leaves all around. A car pulled in the driveway, and she fell to the ground. But out stepped a captain where her boy used to stand. He said, Ma, I'm following orders from all of your letters, and I've come home again. He ran in to hold her and dropped all his bags on the floor, holding all of her letters from war.
Thank you, grade 7 drama class. That was a very heartfelt tribute to the men and women serving in uniform and to their families who worry and pray for their safe return.
We now welcome the Wilson Middle School Concert Choir to perform Fare Thee Well, composed by Oscar Isaac and conducted by Mrs. Heth. Special guest artists are vocals by Mr. Cody Hall and Silas Hedevin on the flute.
Thank you very much, Wilson Concert Choir, for that very moving piece.
And so we continue to honor the brave men and women who sacrificed so much with another time-honored Remembrance Day tradition, the laying of the wreaths.
Special thanks to Mr. Dean Hawkins, Mr. Ryan Seifert, and grade 8 students Kaylee Robinson and JC Kern for their participation.
We have gathered today to remember and to reflect. We have gathered to be together because we, as Canadians, care about our world and our fellow man, woman, and child. By reflecting on the sacrifices of the past and present Canadians, we can better appreciate our role as an active supporter of the global community. The challenge for us all is to live peaceful lives and, through actions and words, encourage others to do the same.
At Wilson, we might choose to act as soldiers of peace in our own way. We might resolve differences with friends more respectfully, or make an extra effort to get along with parents and siblings. We might choose to include classmates when they would otherwise be left out. We might always consider what would be the right thing to do in everyday situations.
We all have an important part to play in contributing to a better, more peaceful world. Putting the values of the Wilson Way into action is a perfect way to show our participation as a citizen of a peaceful and caring world.
And now, please focus your attention on the large screen for a very special video, which is a salute to our Canadian Armed Forces. Following the video, Mr. Hawkins will conclude this ceremony. At this time, teachers in grade 6 and 7 classes should access the video we are going to watch from the link Mr. Pater sent out. The link is tinyurl.com/Wilson11day. That was tinyurl.com/Wilson11day.
The moments that follow are a time for personal reflection. Last post will be played by Miss McMahon. Remain standing during the moment of silence. This is a time to collect your thoughts and focus on the significance of this occasion. Stand while Reveille is played and the piper plays out the color band. On my signal, your homeroom teacher will lead you to your classroom, and we ask that you will exit the same way you came, silently through the hallways and back to your classroom. Please rise. Last post. Moment of silence.
Piper, march off color.
I'd ask that homeroom teachers take their students back to their classroom. Everyone else may be seated.